Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome to our interview that we're going to do today, or let's call it a talk or a cup of coffee that we're having together.
Oh yeah, here's the cup.
Yeah. That we want to invite you to join us. I have the honor to introduce the lovely Indira to you. My name's Mara, and we met here in Spain in this beautiful place, and we both come from lives in what we call different worlds, I guess. And we have different stories that both brought us here. And we wanted to share our stories that are kind of different, and especially Indira started her journey a long time before I did.
At least in this life.
In this life, yeah, true. In this incarnation. So we want to share our stories to inspire you to walk your unique way. So, Indira, you want to start sharing parts of your story?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots to talk about. But I'm just gonna transmit the most important points in this video today. Maybe we're gonna make some more videos to go more into detail. We will see where this video takes us. Yeah, so my turning point in life, let's say, was when I was 30, and I was working in a consultancy in Germany and international also in Europe. And I actually had chosen this work not because I really wanted to do it, but it was really more for money, to be honest. Yeah, because I actually always wanted to be in nature. I wanted to do something where I move my body, and also something that contributes to health. So I actually knew already when I was studying, I knew already what I wanted even before my studies. But it wasn't possible for me in these times to really follow what I felt, yeah. And of course, it's our conditioning, how we grew up, as most of you probably know already, what that makes with you. And so in the end, I started working in offices, and I never really wanted that. I said, this is like really the last thing I want to work in an office. And what did I do? I went to an office. And also one of like the hardest jobs, working hours and traveling and so on in the consultancy. And already after 4 years, I had a really heavy burnout. And I felt it already before coming. I knew that something was coming, that my body will show me, stop it. Yeah, because not only like working in a consultancy, I had this search in myself already as a child. I was always searching for something, but I didn't really know for what I searched for. And that's why I also traveled a lot in the world, and I always had like this, in Spanish you say inquietud. It's like, it's a feeling that you want to do something, that drivenness maybe is in English, you know, drivenness is probably the best expression.
The urge or the call.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly. So I was traveling the whole world and just like looking for something.
So before you had the burnout, or after? Before you
and
were
it was
already
also stressful,
on your
you know,
search?
because I was restless basically.
Yeah, I remember that
Restless.
part too. Yeah, totally.
And then there was also some other factors, no, because before the studies and then during the studies, it was still like a life where you could also go out and party. But then when you start working and continue with this life, it doesn't work anymore, you know, because the work is so hard and your body actually requires that you rest. And then it was a point that also I didn't feel any sense in life. Yeah, that was one of the biggest.
I think that's a really important issue that you mentioned.
I always had that feeling, what is the sense? Why am I here? And I just didn't understand it. Yeah, and like, let's say that the life and the system for me didn't make sense. Already as a child, I had an issue with that. So I was actually always looking for that sense. For this deeper sense, and also for this deeper fulfillment. And it was basically also beside like physical factors that my body showed me, it was also like a latent depression. Yeah, it was like not an obvious depression, but really deep inside. And like depression is also suppressed sadness, basically. Yeah, about like how the world is. Yeah. And and when this breakdown came with 30, I didn't really know what it was or physically, but I knew in this moment it would help me to turn my life. It was really this turning point already in this moment that day when I had the breakdown and it was dizziness and really feeling very, very tired, exhausted. I knew, okay, now it will change.
Okay, you knew, but you didn't know where it would go. But you knew that something.
Exactly, I knew that this incident would help me to change something in my life.
Okay.
So from the first day on, I was really thankful for it.
Oh wow!
Yes,
Nice.
But I was already so. The modern expression is burned out. For me, is like a combination of many things. You know, it's like an intoxication. It's really lack of energy, that your aura is weak, there's like latent depression. So it's a combination of many things that we, let's say, call burnout, no? And of course I didn't know what it was in the beginning, but then a very good homeopath, after search for a year or so, she then said to me, hey, you have a burnout. And
before you just got diagnosed with
nothing.
Nothing.
No, I
just
went
tiredness
to, I don't know, 9 doctors, and they said physically everything okay.
Okay.
And then I made.
So did you go to work during that time? Yeah. Okay.
So I have I have a very strong will, and so I felt really dizzy. I still went to work. I felt really exhausted. I felt like in the morning I made breakfast, and then after making breakfast I was like ready to go to bed again. And the homeopath then, she told me, you're in the state of an 80-year-old woman, and that's how I felt, you know.
Wow.
And through this electromagnetic blood test, many people don't know this, you just need a drop of blood, and then it tells you what intolerances you have, how many toxins you have in your body, which cells are damaged and so on, and it was a really bad state. But at least I knew what it was. And she stabilized me in like 1 year or 1.5. It cost me quite some money.
Still going to work?
Yes, of course. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And but then I made a break. Then I went to Australia for a sabbatical, in New Zealand for half a year. And then I started to do yoga and also go with a Chinese doctor and also start my diet, and there was another turning point, and there I didn't work. I was just like 6 months and I was floating like a plant in the ocean, you know, these water plants. That's how I felt, not knowing where it's gonna go. And then I came back and I wanted to do something different when I came back from the sabbatical, and again I went into another consultancy. So it was all a process through like let's say 2 to 3 years until the body was like talking to me so clear and saying, now it's enough. And then
how did your body tell you?
I knew that because I kind of went into a dependency with the homeopath, you know, because I kind of had to go every week to like feel stable. Exactly. And I didn't want this. It doesn't have to do anything with her, because she did a great job, but I just felt I don't want this. You know, I don't want to go every week to somebody who helps me, and then I do something which, like, you know, exhausts me. And then I saw the swamis in a vision, like the Indian spiritual teachers in their orange clothes, and they were calling me. And then also like the smells of Indian Ayurvedic oils and ghee and so on. I had it in my nose when I was in Munich working. And then I said, okay, that's the point. You go to India and do a yoga teacher training, just for yourself in the beginning, And then I went to India, which was an amazing experience.
Did you quit your job before you did go?
Did I quit my job?
Because that's the point where so many people...
Yes, I did. I did. Yeah, I quit
are
everything.
caught, I
yes.
think, yeah, to
No, I quit.
actually
And in the
usually
end, I was even only working 2 days. Imagine. It was
before you
actually
left for
perfect.
India.
Yeah, it was only
Yeah,
2 days,
okay.
but these 2 days were
Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
Like I
I
said,
know.
no, I have to quit it completely. Yeah. And and I quit the job. I went to India and did the training, not only yoga, also meditation, self-knowledge, Ayurveda, and also Ayurvedic massage. And that was the best thing in my life I ever did.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And it was also the hardest thing because it was 4 weeks.
Okay.
And it was like a 500-hour certificate, and it was really a lot of pressure, but it was so good. But I felt tortured during 3 weeks.
What was the torture? I mean, looking back at it, what was it that tortured you? Like letting go of the old, or letting in the new, or
It was physically really hard because
Okay.
we woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we had the whole day until 10 o'clock at night. We had like teachings, without a break. And after these 4 weeks, we also had to study such a book for the the test.
Oh,
And yes, and it was like also a lot of cleansing, because the first 3 days we just had sattvic food. It was just like cooked vegetable with rice and nothing else. And then you feel so purified after a while, and so much energy comes back, and also a lot of emotion coming up and all this, and finally knowing you are on the right path now. Yeah. And it was really emotional, the first days especially, but really, really hard. And I think 10 people also quit from the course. From
how many
40.
were you?
40.
Oh wow, it was like
Yes,
quarter that gave.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And the
gave
last
up,
week
yeah.
was kind of okay because I knew it was over after. Yes, and but it was it was wonderful to do it. Yeah. And now it goes, because I'm drinking coffee, it goes to my voice.
See you next
Yeah.
time. We noted
Next
that.
time we don't drink coffee. Yeah, of course, in the yoga teachers training, there was no coffee, there was nothing. No, absolutely just
Detoxification.
pure food. Yes. But the first thing when I went then to Goa from the teachers training, after the training, was I had a chocolate cake and a glass of red wine.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Because sometimes, like you let go of something and
No.
you get back to it, and it's like,
No, it was.
why did I ever like it?
It was
It's
it
amazing.
was really good. Yes. Yeah, and then and I was already the year before I did the training. I was already 3 times here in Spain, in Andalusia, doing language course, and I knew that I want to live here.
You
And
knew, like, from when you did your language courses.
Yeah,
That's when you decided.
it was like a year before I went to India,
Okay.
and I was 3 times here in Andalusia. And I knew that I want to live here. And after the 3rd time I did the 3rd language course, I said, I'm going to do this change. Yeah. And then after India, I packed my car in Munich. I had a old red Nissan. Packed everything in there and went to Spain, basically.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And that was 15 years ago in 2008. Yeah. And since then I'm here, but I'm also always a lot in Germany, so because I knew I had to heal something there. I can't just say, I don't like Germany, and no, because every country has something where you say, okay, it's good and bad, and in the end, what is good, what is bad. But I knew I had to heal something. That has
Heal
to
for
do,
yourself.
Yeah, with my past in Germany and growing up there, and it was part of my healing path.
Process.
Yeah. And altogether it took me like 8-9 years to recover from this burnout.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really like the first years I still had like dizziness and this feeling exhausted all the time, and just not having enough energy, like a battery that you want to charge and it doesn't really charge anymore. But I started here with yoga and massages and then Ayurvedic cooking courses, and then already in the first year came also the healing work. And of course it's always a process. You do what you can, I mean, you don't have to be healed 100% to work with people. We all know this, but a certain self-healing process, I find it really important. And that had taken place, of course, with the training in India, and then also the first year I did a lot of self-healing with other healers, and it was like a really amazing path. Also the people who came in my life and who helped me. Yeah. And of course it gets less through the years, you know, because you learn how to really do this for yourself, because in the end you can only heal yourself. Other people can just, I mean, I always say that, I say, okay, am I a healer? Yes. But in the end I say, I just give you an impulse, an orientation.
It's like, how do you define healer?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can just
yeah.
inspire or give an impulse for people to heal themselves.
Yeah, to reactivate the self-healing forces, and then also to remember who you are. Remember that you are divine love. And when we start to remember that, and it becomes really great. It's not even that you have to love yourself, because you are divine love. So
yeah, but to accept that we are divine love, you sort of have to love yourself, I believe.
Yes.
Or that's how I feel it, you know. Because if
yeah.
you cannot love yourself, you cannot accept that you are divine love.
Yeah, exactly.
What I feel.
Yeah, and now I'm here with Mara, and my life got really simple. I mean, it was also just maybe to make her also flow towards your path, that over the years, the more simple my life got, the more fulfilled I felt inside. And in the moment I'm living even in a camper van since a year, and I have rented a little studio here to do the retreats for healing work and yoga, meditation, Ayurvedic food. And I could also live in there when I don't have retreats, but I just felt, no, I want to be in my bus, you know, in this space. And it's so beautiful. In the morning you open up the door and you are already in the nature, and this really reduced and simple life. For me, this is so beautiful. Yeah, and really be in full contact with the nature. That has also a lot of healing strengths. Really, the nature is really the biggest healer, actually.
Yeah. And we're part of it. And we forgot. That's how I feel. But definitely, there's a lot of strength.
Yeah. So, do you have any other question for me?
Well, I think the question would be for all of you guys watching us. Like, is there one thing that you would like give as an inspiration, like one thing to look out for, or one thing to notice it's time to change, or just like one impulse that just comes to you? I know there's like 100 impulses we could offer, but like the one now looking back at your story, what's like the medicine you would like to share from your story?
It's really to follow what you feel and what your dreams are, what you really feel from your heart, not from your head. And I know for many people this is sometimes already difficult. And before I went to Spain 16 years ago, I had the feeling, how do you call these jump boards where you jump in the water? You know what I mean?
On the platforms where you can like just jump off?
Where I had the feeling I was running on this platform, forth and back. Yeah. And I was like, why do I not jump, you know?
Yeah, okay.
I said, I can't, because it was like so tiring to like, I knew I had to jump into the cold water. In Germany you say, no, you have to jump in cold water. Yeah, and then I did a work with a German woman. She did cards, but she did also family constellation, but individual constellation, where you would put like all your family on a paper.
Like on a board, okay.
And then it was like just dissolving for me all the fears that I had to jump. And after two of these sessions, I jumped.
So jumping for you was packing your red car and driving off to Spain.
And go. And
so jumping was not quitting your job?
It was part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, it's always a process, you know, normally. So I mean, it was like 180 turn, but there was already something happening before, you know, it was not really from
but
one
really
day to
jumping,
the other.
it felt like packing your car, coming to Spain.
And then drive out of Munich direction.
Yeah, I remember driving out of Munich as well, funnily enough, because we did not know each other. I fled from Munich originally.
Exactly, yes.
Which is really funny.
And then of course, during all these years, I had to do these kind of things over and over again, because I kind of let go. My whole existence so many times already, 6 or 7 times, because I knew if I don't let go, I don't develop. You know, if I, for example, there was a point where I said I did 7 years Ayurvedic massage and it was great. But then there was a point where I say, no, now you really focus only on the healing work. Yeah, I did this also in parallel, but it was said, no, the time of
To
massage,
change.
or the time of open yoga classes is over. You start doing retreats. So everything what came to my income before, I let go and I started the retreats. And then 4 years ago, I gave up the retreat center that I had 7 years here in Spain. So it was always like, let it go, because if you don't let the old go, then you can't come.
That's a really important issue, I think.
And there's also space often in between. It's not that you many days say, oh, before I let go the old, then you have to come, but it's not like
I
that.
know,
Often
I
it's
know. I believe it's not like
you
that
have
as
to
well.
let
Yeah.
go the old before the
Yes,
new comes.
and I believe in that as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
totally.
A challenging part.
Yeah,
Often
yeah,
that's when I was,
definitely.
especially in Australia. You know, I had the space. It was like 0.0, not knowing where to go, not knowing who I am. Yeah, it was very amazing, this journey.
Yeah, so good to hear, and so good to hear that there are so many points that are alike, even though we had really different journeys. I think even especially this letting go part,
Yes.
it's like a really, really important part. And it took me a while for myself to figure out what is first. You know, it's what so many people ask, what you just said, do I have to let go first and then find something new? And so many people assume that they would have to find something new before they could let go.
Yeah.
And for me, I came to the same conclusion you just
Yeah.
shared, that we have to let go before we can open the door for the universe to have something else come in.
But that also requires confidence, you know.
Definitely, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
had this confidence when I went to Spain, and everybody said to me, oh, in the winter you can't earn money here. And I said, of course I can. Yeah, I don't know why I had this,
The faith.
I had the faith that this is possible, and it always came, you know. And in the first year I still earned quite some money, but in the second year I had to reduce it here because I still was in this burnout thing. And then I had maybe 900,000 euro per month. But it was okay, you know, because the life was simple and it always came, even in the winter months, yeah. And because you just said to find, in the end, what I realized, it's more to remember and to recognize, because our soul pause is like a process of creation. Yeah, it's not actually. I find it's not actually finding. It's more remembering what is there, what we have to do. Oh, we get some cucumbers.
Woohoo, thank you.
From the from the garden. We can't see the garden now. This is a wonderful vegetable garden.
Vegetable
It's permaculture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah, it's like wonderful to have a garden.
Yeah.
Vegetable garden. And so it's a really a creative process from your inner self to find what is your real task in life. What is that what we really have to do? And that has to do with remembering and getting access to your soul again. And then follow this inner guidance. Yeah, there was also a moment many years ago where I had the feeling, now I'm on track.
I know.
I'm so guided, and I'm on track.
Hearing that, I think we're like never on track, because like the track is
well,
always.
of course, the track is like this, you know. But I
it's
had
like
the
a
feeling
roller
there was
coaster.
this, was this guidance. It was not like
Okay,
this, you know.
Okay.
Of course,
but
sometimes
you're
it's like
connected to
there's
your.
such a funny word in Spanish. It's called montaña rusa. It's like the roller coaster, like you said. No, you go up and down, and thank you.
More vegetables. Thank you.
Yeah, and that. I mean, I could talk.
We could
for
go
hours.
on forever. I could ask questions forever. You know, I can just tell.
There are
but
so many things to speak about. Yeah, but and also with the grounding. I mean, this is maybe something we can also do a meditation for grounding in English. I mean, I have meditations for grounding work and also connecting with the divine source in German, but this is such an important work, not only when you do meditation, but also for your life. I mean, as like a state of consciousness that you start to connect yourself like a tree with your roots and with the light and the divine source, because it changes everything. That's really the basis also. And it's so easy, huh? Actually.
It's easy once you get out of your head.
Yes,
So I
yes.
think like this was like really one of the most challenging parts to really get into what most we talked about this before, that we don't really often call it meditation. It's more like a state we're being in, but what is meditation for most people?
The Swami in India, the spiritual teacher, he always said in his axioms that you have to meditate 24 hours per day. No, it's like, oh no, I wanted to speak in German.
I love the English, the Indian accent.
And that's really the point, that it's not a practice. Meditation is not a practice, it's a state of being and consciousness. To do whatever you do, that you do it conscious.
The
in a
challenge.
conscious way. And I'm not saying that I do that all the time. I also have moments where I think, oops, I'm consciously drinking coffee now.
Actually, like one of my last drugs is coffee, and I love it. I just love the taste of it.
Me too. But I started drinking it with oat milk, and actually in the morning I have a tea coffee. It's like almost doesn't have any caffeine. And it's really good, it's
the healthy
with oat milk,
coffee
Yes.
alternative.
But this is real coffee now.
Yeah, we're going for the real stuff for our video.
Exactly. So Mara, do you feel that you also, I mean, we have already talked some time now. So what do you feel? Are we gonna
share my
continue?
story?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess we can, because people can always stop here and just watch later and get back to this part if they feel like it. So I guess
that's good. So and we can also, I mean, we can go a little bit forth and back also once you start telling how your life changed. So maybe do you want to start with your turning point in life, because you were working as a lawyer before, no?
Yeah. This incarnation, past life, I was working as a lawyer, which I actually managed to do for 20 years, and I'm actually impressed myself now looking back that I had the strength to go for that. But somehow I think it was like also karmic issues and learning processes I had to just go through in this life to just so it would make me who I am now. I think my turning point, looking back at it, and back then I didn't know it, like you said, you knew something was going to change and it was going to your life was going to change. I didn't know, but looking back at it now, for me it was, 2014 was my really low point, which looking back, I think 2015 things started to change, but looking at the state I was in 2014 was for me like, and was before you said it was like 7-8 years it took you to get out of this, so I think I'm now life getting me here is sort of a sign that I may have taken most of the bigger steps like the past 8 years basically. But 2014 I was a mess looking back at it now, like it was all this shiny stuff on the outside. I had the job, I had the husband, I had the house, I had the cars, I had all this. But inside, I was dead, basically, looking back. My body also was just giving me signs without end, like I couldn't move anymore. It was normal for me to not be able to move my head without having pain, no matter which way, I couldn't move. Like, I couldn't move my body, I couldn't move my back. There were days like, I was just in pain all day,
But was it also kind of like also the beginning of a burnout, or?
I would say, looking back, definitely. I mean, I was working with a coach from 2016 on, and then she told me I was like either in or just right before a burnout. And later I took a course on what it's like or how to help people running towards a burnout, and taking this course like showed me that I was probably actually in it. But somehow the universe gave me the strength to get out of it by the people I already contacted to help me. You know, I did not get out of this by myself. I had guidance and healers and people who shared my path that really helped me go on this path, you know.
Yeah, so
but I was not in medical treatment.
There was a similar way for me. I started with the homeopath, but then I started also with the healing work. And
I really soon I got into what I called meditating then, and like really trying to.
Well, you start with the practice, no, and then you understand what it really is. No?
Well, it took me some time. Like many people tell me now, it's so hard for me to meditate, and I know what they mean because you know, like sit still. It's like I had a really good doctor I consulted because of my back, because he was not only like looking at my back, but he was looking at me, and he was looking at me, and he said to me, "You cannot even sit still." And I was like I was like this crazy, always under pressure. I have to get things done. I have to hurry up. Well, I mean, I was even talking much faster than I am today.
Yes.
I was like really, really this crazy under pressure lawyer. So 2014, I was like a mess, not being able to move, having all kinds of pain and diseases, and feeling really, really lonely inside. And in 2015, I started to also change what I ate and started to like eat no sugar for a really long time. I quit alcohol totally and stuff like that, which really helped me sort of to clear my mind, is what I would say now looking back. And it really gave me some space to come back to myself more. And 2016, I knew I had to leave my job. And at first I did not totally quit. I sized it down. I was a partner in a law firm in Munich, and I quit being a partner there and downsized my practice to just being me and working less, but still. And for me, getting out of there was like a big step. And I felt like letting it go totally at that point, it would have been too much for me.
Yeah, because you're already unstable. And
Yeah.
like then if you make this radical change, it's sometimes really not possible.
Yeah, that's what I felt on my way, you know. So many people think if you want to change your life, you have to just quit and jump. But of course you have to jump once. Like you said, you were up and down on this platform, and you have to jump one day, but it's not like you have to quit and leave like all in a week.
Well,
you know?
some people also do that.
They do.
But
amazing if you can. But
I mean, for me, it was actually also a process over a few years.
I could not have done that. I would not have. I don't. I mean, everybody's different, but for me, it would not have been good. It would have been too much at once. So, but when I had like my little law firm, just me, I started getting into coaching and psychology and stuff like that. Well, with the law, I figured out that I am basically not helping anybody.
That's a really good point.
Because the problems are always underneath the surface, what people are fighting over. So this was like really important for me, and also like the pressure on me, I couldn't bear anymore, and I didn't want to take it anymore. And it was this crazy system I was in, and I was sort of trying to fight it from the inside, which didn't just work, just sucking up way too much energy. And so with psychology, I realized pretty soon you're not helping from my point of view, not really helping that much either. You know, for me, psychology is interesting to realize some things, because there are really some interesting aspects, but it never gave me any healing. It gave me clarity about some things, and it helped me understand some things, but for me it didn't feel healing.
Because it's too much on the mental level.
And it quits there, right there.
Exactly. It's just a part of so much, actually, and I think in combination with other things, It's helpful, no?
Yes,
If you
yes.
combine it with family constellation, with meditation, with yoga, with energetic healing work, and so coaching, and then I think
it's like a good start, a piece of the puzzle, but not one thing that by itself.
Yeah, that's also
helps.
an experience that I made from people who come to the retreats, because often they do like many years, did already these psychological treatments, and then sometimes in one session or a few sessions of healing meditation or healing work, they said it was like life changing. And I think it's like also a point to really work more together, not say, oh, it's only this or that, because in the end, everything is important, but
and everybody's different, so everyone needs a different piece of the puzzle that helps.
But that's like when you do healing work, you go always on the theta state, and that makes it so powerful. Maybe to explain a bit the difference, no? Because if you just talk, you're more on the beta level where you awake, and then when you go on the theta state where your brain frequencies they change, and you go into like a deep relaxation state, and there a lot of healing can in just a few seconds or minutes or in an hour there can happen so much, and that's really powerful, and that goes through the connection with the earth and with the light and the divine source.
And that's the healing part I missed in the psychology thing, that really healing, that really changes things. In psychology, I felt like even looking at other people, not really for myself, a lot of new addictions are created. It's like there's so many people seeing their psychologists or psychiatrists like every week for like 10 years and so on. So this for me was like creating new codependencies.
That was the point, what I said in the beginning of the video, was the homeopath, that I felt that but it was like a dependency that I was creating myself, and I said after 1.5 years I want to go out there, because
you don't want to be dependent on
it's important that we take over the responsibility for our own healing process. That's really crucial.
And being honest on this point, at that time where I got into the psychology part, I met a guy that really challenged me as in dealing with the sort of relationship we had. So this made me go deeper and deeper, and how do relationships work, or why do they not work, and how do I deal with and accept what is. I cannot change my counterpart. I can only change myself, and he was like this huge lesson for me, and this huge like kicked me sort of, because I couldn't there were points where I couldn't bear the way it was, and I was like, I have to take care for myself. I will not change him, and I cannot change him, and this is not the solution. I have to figure out for myself how to deal with this.
Exactly.
And this was really the point where I was pushed to find my way of healing, because we talked about this before, that everybody has a certain weight they can carry, or burdens they can bear, or pain they can stand. And I believe, like for us, maybe both of us, we're not really willing to be miserable for a long time anymore. But when I realize something hurts me or bothers me or makes me miserable, my question is, what can I do to change it? And I think this is like really a key to go your own path. It's not to expect anybody else to change. It's not to expect anything to come to you, or it's asking yourself, what can you do, what can I do to change that the thing why I'm feeling miserable. And so this guy sort of put me on this path, because I was challenged to find my way to cope with whatever was and accept the way our relationship went, which was not what I wished for. So he also played a big role in my path, actually.
I mean, this sometimes it's really challenging, because in my case I realized also that, also through the healing work, that certain behaviors also in relationship, they come from other lives, because you have a karma with somebody. And for example, you're feeling this guilt because something happened in another life, or it's also ancestral topics or issues. And because until the point you have not solved this, you keep on acting according these old patterns.
Yeah.
And only when you start to really heal this, you can change it, you know,
Definitely.
for you and also for
Also great teaching I
the
had with this
partner.
guy. We had
Yeah.
like this really karmic connection, and
Mhm.
it really showed
Yeah.
me what it does, like what you just explained, that we
Yeah.
live up to those old patterns until we solve them. We really
because sometimes you
healed
just
them.
take over too much responsibility,
Mhm.
which is often not good, you know. I mean, it's like a fine line, you know, what is your responsibility? It doesn't matter if you're in a partnership or friendship, in work, with your kids. What is your responsibility, and where have to give over the responsibility? Yeah.
Yeah, and also what is your responsibility towards yourself, and
Yeah.
what do you or in my eyes, what should we not expect from others?
Yeah.
I think in this karmic relationship it was like sort of the other way around. I sort of expected him to like sort of save me, which is
Yes.
not his responsibility, it's mine. So this
Yeah.
was like one of the teachings.
Mhm.
But I also know the way you just described that we are trying to take over responsibility for people or
Yeah.
partners we're not
That's
responsible
like
for, and we have to draw a line.
the
I
same
know
in
both.
the healing work, you
Yeah.
know. It's the same thing, you know. Where can you go, and where do you have to say, hey, this is, and that's
Yeah.
when you say the dependency are created, no, and this is also the system is like
Totally.
our system creates dependencies, and in the healing work, it's really you say no, it's your responsibility, because I can't do it. I can only show you, but in the end, you have to. It's like a saying in German. Let's see if I can explain it. You only
is it
can
in German?
guide
Okay.
the horse to
To
the
you can
water
lead the horse
source,
to water, but you
the
can make it drink. It's the
yeah,
same in
but the
English.
source-
Yeah.
the horse has
You
to
can
drink itself.
you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's the English version. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
true.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And then sometimes there just somebody comes for one session and that's it. Yeah. Some people come more often because they feel I can transmit more to him. But for them, some it's just really one session is already enough.
You know, the first lady I worked with, I was there like every 6 months because she gave me so much input. I was busy
Yes.
working with that, and I really until this day I appreciate her input because it was really helpful. But I took so many pieces from what she gave me that I didn't show up a lot. But that's not creating dependencies. If you're into, if you wish to see someone every week, you work differently. And
sometimes we also have this pattern in us. No, it's more like the inner child that wants that somebody solves an issue for you.
Yeah.
And then you realize, no, I can do it myself. And then I feel, okay, when do I need help from outside? It's also important.
Yeah, you need a mirror. It's what I believe.
We can't do everything ourselves, and but always feel what you can do yourself.
We cannot see everything,
We're a
especially,
little
I believe.
distracted because of the
My
Mara's
doggy
dog.
is coming to visit. You want to say hi, sweetie? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I got into psychology, and then I sort of, it called me like energetic healing work. So I started like as the client who received the healings, and pretty quick I changed into working that way with. Before I started, I quit the lawyer thing. First, I kept my license, like sort of
as a last anchor.
Yeah, like an anchor and a shield, like a protection shield for myself, sort of, it felt.
Yeah.
And I started working with people like as a coach, and then I pretty soon got called to start the journey as a healer, and I quit my coaching business again, which I started in Munich, and I moved to a place near Berlin. That's the day I packed my bus, it was back then, and left my hometown from the way I looked at it then. And I stayed in Brandenburg, near Berlin, for about a year. And I really got into my own healing there. I did not work a lot, actually. I did some, as you said, we don't have to be totally healed to work with someone else, but it just took up so much time and space and effort to really go into my healing work. And then I had the call to go travel again last August. and I ended up in Spain, but not here yet.
No? Where did you first go?
I ended up in Loja, which is between Malaga and Granada.
Okay.
So on the what I call the other side, like the
other side of the
Mediterranean
world,
Sea.
yeah.
Yeah, the coast of Spain. And I didn't end up, but I was drawn to a cortijo where a couple of Germans lived.
That's what you told me before.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
So back then, I got there like in September last year, and I decided I wanted to stay there for a longer time. And I went back to Germany and gave up the place I had there to live, which was interesting because I came back and I had a little house with 50 square meters near the Havel, and I came back and I looked at this house and I was like, it doesn't have wheels. I don't like it anymore. It's so weird. Like you said, you live in your bus now, and you talked about reducing things. I mean, that was a really big part of my process as well, trying to figure out what do I need. I mean, I moved out of the big beautiful house and divorced my husband, who is a soul I dearly love still. We're still friends, but it was not as a couple we were not supposed to keep on walking our path together. And I basically gave up everything but my bus and my dog, and that's what I brought to Spain. And then in December I went back and gave up my little house and basically gave away everything, all the furniture and everything that I had there, almost all my stuff.
That's why I never had furniture, basically.
Yeah, you told me. It's so funny. I had a lot and I just gave it away.
It's also so I have to move now because both of my legs are asleep now.
So did I put them to sleep, you know?
Yeah, I never really wanted to have furniture. I had
decision.
always just like very little, because it was also, I thought, no, when I move on, you know, then you have another way
baggage
to let go.
Yeah. And you know that yesterday I agreed with a friend that I'm gonna buy her camper van, so now I'm back to a house with wheels. So it's just really amazing for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went back to Spain in December last year, and it turned out that the life on this cortijo was not the life I intended to live.
Cortijo is like a little
It's like
house, not to explain it in
actually
English, or
more like a house. It's like a, what do you call it in English? Like a big property with an old Bauernhof,
like a
farm, like an old it's like old farmhouses and farmland around
and a community
it.
living there.
Yeah, basically a community that was like very or sort of new, and they like sort of wanted to start over, but just I was shown that it was not my path to stay there, and actually I was pretty glad that I got to see this sort of quick. And I packed my stuff again and traveled again, and actually I was at a point where I was not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do, really questioning if I was on the right path. And I was like, okay, I'm going to this one place. This is my last try here on this part of the coast, which is the Atlantic coast where we are at right now.
Yes.
This is my last try, and if that's not it, I need whatever, a new plan. I might just go back to Munich and start my journey over. I mean, I'd never considered going back to live there, but to just start over. And well, this is what brought me here. It was a place that, through talking to people, got me to exactly the place where we are sitting right now. And I was here, and I mean, the people were so amazing. Everybody was, really like really welcoming me, really special, really open-hearted, and I could really connect with them. You know, just not just being friendly is not enough for me to feel welcomed and in the right place. And here it was like totally amazing that the universe got me here, and it was. Like I think you said it before, like when you were down, you said when you were down you knew things were going to change or your life was going to change. And you know, I've had like I would say like 3 or 4 like of those really low points where I was like, I did not know where to go. I did not know if I was doing the right thing. I was just devastated on the floor, in pain, crying, seriously. And it was basically the same. Well, like my 4th time, and I was like, it's not that bad anymore. It's like the 4th time you start getting the faith that things are gonna work out, and the universe has your back and is behind you and shows you the way. But it's really the moment we really give up is what I learned again. It's the moment we surrender, the moment we're like, I don't know what to do, show me life, show me. I was at this point like maybe 2 months ago, 2 months and a half ago. And after I said, okay, I have no idea, life show me, it brought me here. And I'm so thankful and impressed and glad. And
so that's the soul that guided you here.
It was my soul and my spirits. Definitely my spirits. All the
spirit guide.
Yeah, spirit guides. I mean, my spirit guides also sent me to Brandenburg back then, which was amazing, which was perfectly right at that moment. So I do a lot of meditations with my spirit guides, like receiving pictures. Like you said, you had the vision from India where the monks said, and I have like my spirit animal is a dolphin. And she talks to me a lot, and she shows me a lot of pictures, and she gives me a lot of signs on where to go and what to do and what not to do. But sometimes like my mind takes over and I forget that this is really the she has the answers that I should follow. And but like one big lesson that I have learned is, do not ask how. Do not ask how do I get there. Just accept like the vision or the wish or whatever you receive or whatever your heart tells you, and have faith in the universe that it will work out the right path for you. Because like looking back, I could have never imagined the way my life had to take to actually end up here. So our mind cannot do the job. It's magic, and we cannot imagine. It's beyond our imagination. And right now I'm just so thankful and so happy, and I really appreciate this place and the people so much. And
that's a really special thing here in this area in southern Spain or southern Andalusia on the Atlantic coast, that the people are really so warm and welcoming, and everybody, it's like and also mixing, there are a lot of Spanish people.
I love that as well.
Yes, and also like, let's say old people, that are living, that they lived here in this little town, village. No, it's not a town, it's a village, Saura. They lived here all their life, and they're mixing up with everybody, and it's really beautiful. Because if it gets too many foreigners, like in Portugal on the Algarve, it doesn't feel right anymore. I think it's important that it has a good balance, between the people who live here and the people come from abroad.
Definitely. But in Portugal, well, many people love it. I know. I didn't. Or not what I saw now, because I've already also been there on my journey this year. And I saw people that did not want what you just explained, like this mix.
They didn't want to mix.
It's either neither the locals, I got the impression, were interested in the people moving there, but people moved there had no intention of being integrated in the Portuguese life. That's how I felt it, and that was just not what I wanted to live. I think that's really
but that's really so rich when you open to dive into the culture. And I think one important thing is also to learn the language where you are, and to really experiment what the people also have to give to you. One thing is really the joy and the humor here, because it is so helpful. When I had this burnout, and all the time when I was like really laughing with people from here, from the bottom of my body, all the symptoms were gone. And I think in this whole thing about talking about healing work and so on, this is so essential that we don't lose this, and especially in the last couple of years, with this whole craziness what's happened. So many people, they don't allow themselves to feel this joy anymore. And I'm not just like joy. For me, it's really divine joy. In Spanish, you say alegría. And the humor, of course, to allow yourself to also really laugh about yourself. That's a very important point.
Definitely.
You can take things serious, but don't take them too serious. Because then it gets ridiculous, and I had to learn this also. In the beginning of the years, I took my work too serious, and then people were saying to me, "Indira, relax, it's too much." And that was a really important lesson, also.
I think that's where a lot of us come from. Being too serious and being too pushy on ourselves, and
for what in the end? If you don't enjoy life anymore. And when I say enjoy life, I'm not speaking about just do what you want, because for me, enjoying is also to follow my soul path,
Definitely.
And
that's really important, because many people think life has to be hard, or if it's work, it cannot be fun, or things like that, like all those old beliefs and patterns that we really can transform within the healing work. There are so many of them believing that life must be hard or work must be hard, and it's not like that. For me, it was like just this realization that your soul path, we chose paths that are fun. None of us chose a path with a struggle, which is we have to allow ourselves to accept that life is not a struggle.
But that's really, for many people, a lifelong process. But I think it can end now, because everything now can go really quick. And that's also when you do the connection with the ground and the divine source, to remember that in the source there's no time, and really life topics can dissolve in a few seconds if you're ready for it.
That's the point. If you have really made up your mind, or your soul is ready, and you really let it go. If you have taken a decision to let the old go. I think for me that was like really, it can go quick if you really make the decision and you really let it go.
You know what my vision is now at the moment, where it drives me, it goes out on the Atlantic Ocean. And the other day I was watching a video from a young woman, and she crossed the Atlantic Ocean already twice with a really old boat. With a wooden boat. It's called Varam, I think, and it's a 50-year-old boat that she renovated. And it's like totally pirate hippie boat. And I was watching this, and I have already this vision since many, many years that one day I want to cross the Atlantic with a sailing boat. Also, I don't really know how to sail, but this will also come. I know it will come. It's something that I want to learn. And for her, it was also this process, renovating this boat and learning about sailing. And one day she took off, and she just went by herself, all alone, through the Atlantic Ocean. And that's something I feel this pull, towards there.
So you're on your platform again, and it's like maybe the next chance.
I don't know how it will happen. For sure, maybe also with people together, or I don't know, but I think one day it will happen.
And what you describe now is that we're all, even if we have taken like a lot of jumps and steps, and we're following our soul path, there's still always
and I think that
new challenges.
That video, or that message that she transmitted, we can also put the link of this video, because it is so helpful. Now I have to go back in June to Bavaria, and of course it's 3,000 kilometers alone in my van. Well, maybe not
soul
alone. Sister will come with me at least until Italy, or maybe she comes also to Germany. Then it's already easier, but I did this trip already quite a few times alone, and it was quite a challenge at the beginning. And I also like, I did it already a few times, but now it's again, wow, 3,000 kilometers alone through Europe. But then when I watched this video and I said, well, she goes alone over the Atlantic Ocean. So this is nothing. So it like puts everything into
perspective.
Yeah, and it really is so helpful because she also encourages some people, and especially women, to really follow what you feel inside. Yeah, and it's always possible. And what also was really interesting that she said she was never in a storm, and she hears like all these people and old men talking about their storm stories, and she says, I've been never in a storm. And when you see this video from her, she's really floating over the ocean, and everything is so calm, you know. And I think that we can really create also where we travel and how the weather is. In the end, we are the creators, and to remember the strengths that we really have inside, that we are the divine creators.
We are
to create other worlds.
Create our whole lives.
Yeah. So and the journey goes on, no?
Yeah.
It's not that one day everything is good. No, you will always have challenges. And I had this talk with somebody who's here at the retreat at the moment, and she says, I always see that also people who did therapeutic work or healing work, that they also have their issues. I said,
yes,
of course, you know.
They never end, I guess.
Of course, you always will have challenges in life, and then of course it depends how you manage it, and over the years it gets like easier because you're already used to, you know, you have your tools and your methods, and you can be more stable, more in your center when the storm is around you. And I think this is really the change.
And also for me, it's knowing myself better, and knowing things always get better after they get worse. You know, it's like the faith you mentioned before. My faith in the universe and in life is growing, and the more it grows, the easier it gets for me to face challenges, and the more rewards I get. Like it's unbelievable in some parts what life gives me right now, and it's not giving as in money, but as in things you cannot buy. Like gifts you cannot buy.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
amazing.
That's the thing, really. I mean, I never had a lot of money, but for me, somehow I always felt so rich, you know. And everything was always like possible. What I really wanted to do, it was possible. And that's really the magic in life. And then you think, oh, I can't really, you know, first the mind says, oh, you can't really afford this. And you say, yes, of course, I will do this. For example, I did a training, further training in healing work after many, many years. I felt it was the Techie Academy in Germany, and I said, oh, but it's a lot of money for me because it was like 5 courses, and I said, no, it will come. So I did it, and the money came, you know, from sources that you can't really sometimes imagine, and that's the beauty in life. So it doesn't really matter what we spoken before the video. No matter how much money you have, you can have a lot of money and don't do anything with it, you know, or you don't have anything and you do everything. So it's really relative, so it's really what you make out of it.
To me, when I look back at the work I did as a coach with people, money is an excuse. And it's what I experience as well. You know, it's an excuse for so much. For I can't, and I mean, people who don't have money use it as an excuse, and people who have money use it as an excuse to not start that journey. So
all these excuses. I feel now the sun is moving over. It's getting really hot.
So we have like over an hour. I think we did pretty well.
Yes.
So thank you a lot for sharing.
The question is now, shall we do just a very short connection with the ground and the source, just to show how this can feel, or shall we put it?
Your impulse. Do what you. Just
maybe for a few minutes to finish up this video. And before we start this, is there anything else that you want to finish up our talk? It's actually our first talk together. Experiment.
Well, just thank you for sharing.
Yes.
And very inspiring. Also, sometimes I'm curious to listen to it again, because sometimes it's really interesting for me to hear what I pointed out. I think I have the feeling I didn't really finish my story because we sort of got into talking, but I guess it's just the way the universe wanted it. It's just how I feel.
I think maybe it's important that you, because I mean I'm used to the sun, so it's
because I really don't know where I was, so maybe finish up my story some other time because we really got out of it.
You were when you arrived here. That was the
I think that was like a shortcut because I think there are some pieces missing.
Yeah, but that was the same for me. There were so many things I think, but that's why I think maybe we can do more videos on this.
Because what I wanted to say is I feel that's not the whole story. That's all I'm not intending to finish it now. It's just like mentioning it, that like this was a part of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's so much more to it. Is actually what I feel like.
I think for both of us it was basically just a fraction of it. Yeah. Because
same for you, I know. Yeah. That's probably what I was what I had the impulse to share, that this is just bits and pieces of our story.
Maybe I put you a question on that because you feel like also to do this energetic healing work with people and also with focus on the shamanic work. That's I understand now. This is your focus.
This is what I am called to do right now. Actually, so for me, the shamanic aspects help me a lot with the rituals to really basically let go. For me, letting go was such a key, and the shamanic work gave me the power and the power and the energy, and it was a way for me to, like, energetic healing work is like working with energies and giving like a way to work and to focus them in one point and to like give them a job, ask energy to do a job. And to me, like shamanic traditions and shamanic rituals are a really amazing way to connect with an energy and let it work. And it helped me so much that this is the sort of work I love to offer for those who feel a call to experience it, try it. And also it like I said, I love to work with my dolphin, my spirit animal. This for me is like one of the most amazing experiences, to connect with your spirit animal and like keep this connection and have all those spirit guides, connect with them and have them answer our questions, because only we know what is good for us. Nobody from outside, in my experience,
that's true,
can answer where to go, what to do, what's best for us, and like really find a way. Everybody has a different way to connect with themselves and get their answers. For me, it's a wonderful way to connect with myself and my spirits and get answers for my life.
Good.
Yeah, and that's what I want to share.
Good.
Thanks for the question.
Yes. Thank you for watching this video. Before we go now to this connection that I'm gonna do, and we're gonna put all the information on the video below, also where you can find I don't know, do you have a website, or to Mara's website, to my website, and some other information that we think is helpful for your path. And and then it's also would be great if you join my channel or the channel of Mara, and to be informed when we're gonna do new videos. And I hope to see you soon. And when I do this connection, we're just gonna like fade it out.
Okay.
And
so people can just stay with whatever we're gonna do, and they're gonna be.
Is there anything else that you want to say, or?
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks,
and of course you're welcome to visit us here in Andalusia to do some healing work, and also come for a retreat or just for a stay, and just to be that was something that you also wanted to
Yeah.
offer, not just like create a space where people
Yeah,
can
get
just
out of
be.
where you are and
Not necessarily do a retreat. I mean, I'm more focused on the retreats, but maybe also going to create something together in future. We will see where life guides us.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. So
Then
let's go ahead with
yes.
your.
Okay. So if you want to do this connection, it would be good if you just put yourself in a comfortable position and close your eyes, and just take a few deep breaths towards your heart. And it's always helpful if you inhale through the nose and exhale through your mouth, just to let go of the used energies and the inner pressure and tension. Keep on breathing like this for about a minute. And just redirect all your focus from the outer world into your inner world towards your heart chakra, opening up your inner space. And opening up your heart. Then from your heart you go downwards with your exhalation towards your root chakra on the base of the spine, and becoming wide on your base to let your roots grow into the earth until the center of Mother Earth, where your roots are going to anchor. And you just visualize how you start to reconnect with your tree of life. And with your whole consciousness you go into the center of the earth and feel the strength that the earth gives you, this confidence, this love. Your whole being sinks into the ground, into the earth. And at the same time you feel how the earth's energies are flowing upwards through your roots and strengthening your body, which is the trunk of your tree of life. And just breathe deeply between your body, your roots, the center of the earth, and from there upwards towards your ground. The uprising earth energies are going to your head and then towards your crown, which is your spirit. And your inhalation goes also upwards, direction sky, with your whole consciousness. And then you just visualize how your crown is opening up and wanting to connect with the light. And you journey through the cosmos, connecting with the sun, and through the sun with the divine source. And you visualize how the branches of your tree of life are connecting with the center of the divine source. And then you just stay there for a couple of breaths with your consciousness and feel how the divine light is entering your physical and your energetic bodies. And just bringing back the light, increasing the vibration in your whole system, and remembering that you come from the source, that you are divine light and divine love. Just extend and fuse with the divine source. And also really feel thankfulness for whatever is, what was, and what will be. And with this feeling of thankfulness, you start coming back again from the source, through the sun, back into your physical body on the superficie of the earth, connecting again with your roots, and feeling really grounded, connected, and you are one with the divine creation. And you can take a few deep breaths between the sun in your heart, the sun in the earth, and the divine sun in the sky. From your heart exhale into the earth, and from the earth over your heart into the divine sun. Just imagine this standing eight between earth and sky that is crossing in your heart. And feel the eternity in your being. Then center again in your heart. You can stay like this for a moment. And then just wait until the impulse comes to come back again. Do this connection every day and let it become a state of consciousness, a state of being. Thank you and namaste.